Louie T. Welcome to Washington football overtime. Washington Lions. Damn good football game. Didn't start out that way, but as we've seen with this team throughout the course of this season, not a first half team by any stretch of the imagination. Fell down 24 to 17 to 3 at half. It got as big as a 24 to 3 lead. Washington comes roaring back, and we were in the MOBB. MOBB, stand up. We in the building. And I told them, I said, I surmise, and I told them this at halftime, that we're going to continue on this third quarter binge we've been on where we don't give up a ton of points and we score a bunch of points and come back in games. And I said, somehow we're going to blow it at the end. That was my exact quote was, we'll make this interesting and we'll lose it at the end. Exactly what we did. Now, I thought we were going to overtime, but then I did send out this last message at the end. Stafford's got 16 seconds and 3 timeouts. I said, I'm just saying. And you saw what happened, okay? So, like I said, I don't know that this team isn't going to win many more games this season. Smith, I told him to prove me wrong. He did. He went out and he played ball. It looked exactly like I thought it was going to look for the first 2.5 quarters. Check down city. Not a lot of explosive plays. This Lions defense isn't very good. So I thought we should have been moving the football. And honestly, the first 2 possessions of the game, we did move the football. Smith took a bad sack on a 3rd down. We had a bad play call on a reverse that netted us negative yards. You know, those things happen, though. I can get into more detail. I see some super chats. I don't want to miss out on these. So I'm going to go ahead and get to these super chats first, and then we'll come back and talk more about the game. Kevin the PRF, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, Kevin the PRF, who writes, not disappointed in this game looking long term. I believe in this staff moving forward with better pieces. I can tell you this, and I said this in the Flick community. This team doesn't give up on Duran. You know, again, I don't like continuing to harp on things that I've said already. And I told you guys before the season started, I said, I don't know what this team's going to be. And I told you I didn't think we were going to be very good. I thought we were going to be a 6-win team. And I don't think we're getting to 6 now, obviously. But I said, one thing we're going to see with this team is they're going to fight under Ron Rivera. I never saw a Panthers team that quit on Ron Rivera in his time in Carolina. And I don't think that I don't think that's going to happen here. And we saw it again. We were down 24 to 3. We could have easily packed our things and got ready to head back to Washington for Cincinnati next week. We were down 24 to 3. What reason is there to fight? But they did. They kept fighting. They tied this thing up at 24. It looked like they were going to lose 27 to 24. The referees bailed us out a couple of times. I'm not mad at that. And they pulled up their bootstraps and they tied this thing up at 27 again. And had a chance to try to send this thing to overtime, and they weren't able to do it. And at the end of the day, this team continues to fight. And so I'm with you. And I told you guys a long time ago, probably like 3-4 weeks ago, I'm going to ride with Rivera. You know, you may not always love what he does. I'm going to ride with Scott Turner. A lot of you criticizing Scott Turner. He needs to go. I'm not getting into any of that with you guys because when he wasn't doing anything, I didn't hear any Scott Turner complaints when we scored 3 straight touchdowns. Only Scott Turner complaints when we were down 17 to 3 at halftime. Oh, Scott Turner's got to go. Well, does he have to go after we score 24 points in the second half? I mean, you guys got to chill with that. Seriously. But I believe in this group as well. You know, we need more pieces. That's a fact. Absolutely. Santiago Tradell, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Santiago Tradell writes, I would have rather us gotten blown out than to have a close game and Chase Young give them the win with a dumb penalty. No, I wouldn't have rather gotten blown out. That game was fun. I enjoyed myself thoroughly. You know, obviously I would love to win, but I went into the game expecting to lose. So I told you, if you go in with the expectation that you're going to lose, so the new mantra, and this is actually the old mantra, but I had hit the reset button at the beginning of the season. And then after seeing this division, I hit the reset button and I felt good about hitting the reset button. And it was hope for the best, expect the worst. But at least you're hoping first that you're going to win. Now, I expect the worst, hope for the best. So it's other way around now. I'm expecting to lose the game. And if we do anything other than that, I'll be pleasantly surprised. So that's why I'm not upset. You guys should practice that as well. There were too many of you that thought we were going to win this game. I touched on that on Friday. Like, where's all this confidence coming from as if they don't have Matthew Stafford on their sideline? Well, he beat us at the end of the game. And yes, Chase Young did have a stupid-ass penalty. And it did cost us. But you know what else could have happened? How about the DBs not play 18 yards off? How about the DBs don't play at the sticks and give them a free 10 yards when you know all they need is 10 yards? How about you come up and jam them? Just a thought. It is what it is. Still had to make a 59-yard field goal, and he did. King of the North. Thank you for the super chat, King of the North. Greatly appreciate you. I thought it was a soft call on Chase, by the way. It was late. No doubt about it. I thought it was soft. But the officials giveth, the officials taketh away, because we shouldn't even been in that position. Because I thought the slant pass interference, it was a good call. They didn't have to call that. If they didn't call that, I wouldn't have been mad because he knew it was slant. It's similar to Kendall Fuller a couple of weeks ago when he jumped slant, knows it's slant, and picks up a PI because he was there too early. Same thing with Trufant. King of the North says, other than Alex, this was a total team effort to lose today. D-line created no pressure, couldn't stop Swift. Do the Lions have a top 5 O-line? No, they don't. No, the defense wasn't good today. Again, the defense wasn't good. They're regressing is what we're seeing from this defensive unit. They're getting worse as the weeks progress. They had the peak of the season was the Dallas game. They went into the bye week and invasion of the body snatchers. I don't know who these guys are that have come back after the bye week. We didn't see them last week against the Giants. We didn't see them again this week. I don't know who we're looking at. We're not getting any pressure on the quarterback. We're not stopping the run. I don't know who these guys. Kendall Fuller can't cover anymore. I don't know who these guys are right now. I don't. I'm sorry. Again, it is what it is. Take it with a grain of salt. Santiago Tradell says, looks like we'll be picking top 5 2 years in a row. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. I don't know if we're picking top 5. We're picking top 10 for sure. We are definitely in the discussion for a top 5 pick. You betcha. I can't confirm nor deny that because I still look around the league and I still see the Houstons and the Jacksonvilles of the world and the Jets. And I just don't know how many games those guys are actually going to win. But as I look at that pool of 2-win teams shrink because they're not as many. Like 3 weeks ago, there were 10 teams with 0, 1, or 2 wins. The Falcons have left us. The Vikings have left us. The Giants left us today. They beat the Eagles. You still got the Cowboys. I don't know if they win another game this season. Maybe they beat us. Who knows? We'll see. Yeah, there's some bad teams still left in football. But we are among that group. I still think we've got 2 or 3 wins left in us. I don't see how we get any more than 5. I think 4 is that magic number now. I'm looking at Dallas and then one more game outside of Dallas, and I'm thinking, that's it. If the Eagles don't have anything to play for in week 17, that could be a win potentially. But right now I'm looking at the schedule and I'm playing the schedule game and I'm saying, 5 wins max. If you get to 5, you won't be picking in the top 5. If you're at 4, there's a chance, an outside chance, but a chance nonetheless. If you win 3, you're picking in the top 5. If you win 3 games, you're picking in the top 5. So we'll see. Home Sports, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Home Sports writes, can't wait for the excuses this time. Con Rivera's team unprepared and dominated for the entire half again. Cam took Carolina to the playoffs, not this moron. Again, I'm not with the name calling. I just know that Ron Rivera and this team, they weren't prepared in the first half. Again, it's amazing how when the players fail, we blame the coaching staff because it's the easiest thing to do. But the players on the field are the ones that need to go out and execute. And Ron Rivera didn't tell Alex Smith to run backwards 11 yards and take a sack on 3rd down. Now, the play call by Scott Turner on that 2nd down wasn't an ideal play call, but that was a good play by the Lions. You got to give them credit, too. I didn't like the play call at all. But there's things that you can do to overcome a bad play call, or in the case of these players, just go out and execute. Don't take an 11-yard sack when you're in field goal range. Again, leave that for the young boys. You a veteran. You an older guy. You know better than that. You too old for that shit. Don't take that sack. He did. Now you got to punt on first possession. How about J.D. McKissic running down the sideline for a touchdown and he overshoots him by 2 yards? Make the play. And all of a sudden, we're not having a discussion about getting dominated in the first half. How about Dustin Hopkins doesn't have to miss his annual 1 field goal a game when he kicks more than 1? Then you're not down. If you wipe away those mistakes, that's 10 additional points. That's 7 additional points in the first half. Now, instead of trailing 17-3, it's a 17-13 game. Those things change ball games. Guys got to go out, and who knows if the Lions dominate the way that they do if we score that J.D. McKissic touchdown. If Dustin Hopkins doesn't miss that field goal. Who knows if the half still goes the way that it goes. It's not all Rivera's fault. Guys got to make plays out there on the football field. Can't be giving up easy. One of the biggest keys to the game every week is no big plays defensively. What did we do? First damn possession of the game. Big play for a touchdown. And it was on a 3rd down, no less. We did it again later on in the game. These things can't happen. But they do. How about Terry fumbling the football? I mean, again, I don't know what you want from the staff when your players aren't on the field executing. You can't blame the coaches for everything. These players have to be accountable as well. Got another super chat here from Extra Squaw. And Extra Squaw, let me make sure this is the right one. Yeah, right here from Extra Squaw. Greatly appreciate you, Extra Squaw, who writes, what's your excuse for Chase Young? Gets no pressure and costs us the game. He's been overrated and hasn't been nowhere near a game record. Again, if I have to explain this to you, then you just don't get it. Look, I'm not going to sit here and act like Chase Young has been destroying and wrecking shop, because he hasn't. I'm not going to sit here and act like he has, but he has been an impact and a force. But don't think the other team doesn't know that. He's still getting double teamed every single week. My biggest complaint with Chase is when you do get one-on-one, you got to win. He even said it himself in his presser this past week. He said, my biggest issue with what I've done this far is that when I get one-on-one, they asked him, what's the biggest thing you can improve upon? He says, when I get one-on-one, I got to win. And he doesn't get it often. But when he does, he needs to win. He's absolutely right. That would be my biggest complaint of Chase Young right now is when he finally does get one-on-one. And let's say he gets to rush the quarterback 23 times a game. Of those 23 rushes, he may get 7 of them where he's not double-teamed. He's got to win on at least 3 of those. He's not right now. That's my biggest complaint. But if we're going to sit here and act like Chase Young doesn't impact the fact that the man is taking a double team is impact enough means somebody else should be winning because you're getting one-on-one. And if you can't notice that, if you don't understand it, then you don't understand football. So it's no reason for me to try to explain to you the fact that the man is getting triple and double team speaks volumes. When's the last time we had a player that commanded a double team? I'll wait. No, I don't need to wait because you don't have a damn answer because there is no one. We haven't had a player like this in forever. And the fact that he's commanding a double team means somebody else needs to win. Nobody else is winning, so now we have problems. This is why we miss, and I knew this was going to happen. This is why we miss Matt Ioannidis. I told you he was the one guy on the interior that could get pressure. Interior pressure helps exterior pressure. When guys are getting pressure on the inside, quarterback has nowhere to step up. Now those guys coming around the corner can get to the quarterback. When there is no pressure on the interior, all the quarterback has to do is step up. Those guys are going to go right around the pocket. Like I said, Chase has been an impact player this season. And even when he's not impacting the game from a pressure standpoint, he's impacting the game from a strategy standpoint. The other team has to double team him, has to take a tight end out of the route, has to take a running back out of the route, has to chip, has to make sure they slide protection his way. They're keeping 2 and 3 guys in to block him. Somebody else has to win. Got a super chat here from King of the North. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, King of the North. Greatly appreciate you. King of the North writes, I'm glad the team showed fight, but why the hell do we wait till the third quarter? That's the big question, man, really, to wake up. He says the O imploded inside the 30 every drive in the first half, giving up big plays in soft zone, frustrating. You hit pretty much every big point on the head. It's really nothing more to add to that. The thing that we don't have the answer to as fans right now is the fact that we just, for some reason, and I can't explain it right now, we don't come out fast for whatever reason. Last year, in all the years under Gruden, it was always we come out flat in the second half. Gruden's first 15 was usually good, and then we would bog down and we would struggle, but we would never make adjustments at halftime, and we would come out flat, and teams would run away from us in the second half of ball games. It's the inverse of that now. We come out just as flat as a soda that's been open with no top for the longest. I just don't understand why we can't start. We're the only team in the NFL. 32 teams in this league, 31 of them have scored on their opening possession. We're the only one that hasn't scored on the opening possession this season. That's pretty tough to do. We've had 10 weeks, now 9 games, to score something, a field goal, a touchdown, something on an opening possession. We have nothing to show for it. And you're right. We absolutely, what did I say about us in the red zone? Have to find ways to convert when you get inside the 30, inside the 20. And we did that for the most part once we got inside the 20. The problem was once we got inside the 30, inside the 35, we didn't know how to act. We didn't know how to conduct ourselves. That's when we started showing our ass and acting a fool. And that's when you get the Terry fumble. That's when you get the Alex sack. That's when you get the missed field goal. That's when you get the missed opportunity to J.B. McKissick. We had opportunities. We just didn't take advantage of it. And again, that's why you're 2-7. The big plays on defense has been happening all season long. That's why you're 2-7. There are reasons as to why we are what we are. And you see them on a weekly basis. So I don't know why some of you act surprised when you see it. Because we know what this is. Got another super chat here from CJ Shoots Photos. Thank you for the super chat. CJ Shoots Photos writes, Chase Young blew it with a dumb push on Stafford. He did. I can't defend Chase on that. He didn't need to do it. It was unnecessary. And it cost us big because it put the Lions on the doorstep of field goal range and gave them an opportunity to just need 10 yards. And you can't do that. Chase has to be better. I thought it was a ticky-tack call, but it's a call that you can't defend him on because it was late and it was unnecessary. He didn't need to do it. It's just stupid. Unnecessary. And that's frustration out of Chase. Hasn't been at the quarterback all day long. Finally gets an opportunity, and he felt like he needed to put hands on the quarterback. It's dumb, but that's his psyche right there. That's where he was mentally, and it's not a good place to be because you hurt your team. Got another super chat here from Rob Yu. Thank you for the super chat, Rob Yu. Greatly appreciate you, Rob Yu, who writes, what up, Lou? He said, was this harder to look at team's first half performance or listen to Aqib Talib's commentary? Actually, I liked Aqib as the game wore on. He's super hood, and I love him. But this is what happens when you're a bad team. They trot out their D- team. Like Dan Hellie works for the NFL Network. He doesn't call NFL games. I didn't think he did a bad job, though. But that's not what Dan Hellie does. This is his first game. Aqib Talib, never done this before. This was his very first game. And they've done this before. I remember Greg Olsen a couple of years ago on a bye week got an opportunity to call the game because they look at some players and they think he's got a future in broadcasting after his career is done. We're going to give him some practice reps, essentially. And so you take one of your worst games on your docket and you assign it to your D- team. And that's what they did. They essentially are trying out guys on this game because the Lions stink and we stink. And they got a good game, but it's what you got to put up with. Our first half performance was much harder to digest than Aqib Talib's play-by-play or his analysis. It is what it is. I didn't have a problem with Aqib Talib as the game wore on. He got better. There was a lot of dead air at the beginning of the game because he wasn't filling in those gaps. The play-by-play guy calls, and then as the analyst, it's your job to fill in the gaps, talk about the play, what happened, what didn't happen, what should have happened. He got better as the day wore on, but The first half performance was atrocious because we did the things that we've done all season long to stunt growth and stop us from winning games. Turn it over, take stupid sacks, missed field goal, all the shit that we've done to get to 2-7 now. We did it in the first half. You know, fumble, missed on a deep ball. Matthew Stafford didn't miss, but we did. Missed opportunity on the first possession with a sack. Bad play call by Scott Turner followed by a sack. Out of field goal range. Terry on a fumble right before the half. Like, these are the things that bad teams do. And we routinely do these things on a weekly basis, so you get the results that we get on a weekly basis. Thank you for the super chat, Rob U. Got one here from J. Hunter Lee. Thank you for the super chat, J. Hunter Lee, who writes, Scott Turner only opens up the offense in the fourth quarter. They call this Air Courrier, Ariel. Yeah, no. So, again, in my constant pursuit of defending Scott Turner, you have to execute. The Lions play a ton of man-to-man coverage. I told you guys we were going to get a ton of man-to-man. I told you we were going to get a lot of crossing routes. Those would win the day against man-to-man coverage. There were opportunities in this game that we didn't take advantage of. There were some drops. There were some missed opportunities from Alex. There were some missed opportunities from some of our guys not making plays. At the end of the day, I thought there were opportunities galore in this football game. And I can't wait to watch the film because I feel like without even being able to see the all-22s, I guarantee you we left some meat on the bone today. I guarantee it because the Lions aren't good defensively. They're not. And they let Alex Smith almost throw for 400 yards today. Let that sink in. I mean, at one point, this guy was barely over 100 yards in the third quarter, and they let this man heat up and eviscerate them over the final quarter and a half for damn near 3 bills. So this is a bad Lions defense. It is. And we had opportunities in this game. And to say that Turner only opens it up in the fourth quarter, I can tell you this. He gets more aggressive as we're down and we get in. Because he's fighting this inner demon, this battle, if you will, of trying to stay balanced. He wants to throw the football on every down if you let him. Like, he doesn't really want to run it. You know, and he's fighting this battle, this inner demon. His inner demon is saying, Scott, throw the football. You know you want to do it, Scott. And he's like, no, I got to run it. I got to stay balanced. And he's fighting this inner demon. And I'm just like, hey, Scott, do what you do, bruh. If you want to throw the shit, just throw the shit. They not stopping it. Just throw it. And what did we do? We started throwing it. We started throwing that peel around. And then when we got in the red zone, we'd run it and get in the end zone. But he wants to throw it. Just throw it, dude. Just throw it. If that's what we do best, just do that. Thank you for the super chat, J. Hunter Lee. Home Sports. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Home Sports. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, see you after next week's loss, Lou. All love. Hey, I appreciate you. Yeah, I'll be here. You know, we know where to find me. Hopefully, you'll be in the MOBB chopping it up with us, and you'll join us on overtime. I look forward to it. I got another one here from Rob U. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Rob U. Greatly appreciate you, Rob U. Who writes, I think Darby has regained his confidence and stayed injury-free. He needs to be extended before he hits free agency because he's quietly balling. I thought he had a strong game. I thought he was the best member of the secondary in this game. I would like to know an update on DeShazer. He never returned to the game. That's scary because Troy Apke was in the game, and you saw what happened towards the end of the game. It's amazing. No Apke for over a month and no easy 5 yards behind the defense opportunities. The minute Apke comes back in the game, we got at the end of the end of the game, right? Stafford throws it to Quintez Cephas, and he's literally 6 yards behind the rest of the defense. Boy, Apke is the worst. And I don't even know if he was the issue, but I guarantee you he was the issue on that play. So, yeah, I agree with you. Darby, I thought he had the best game of any secondary member. I'll have to watch the film, obviously, but I thought he tackled well. I thought he flashed. I thought he was always around the football. I thought Darby was outstanding today. One of the few guys in the secondary that was. Thank you for the super chat, Brandon Brantley. Really appreciate you, Brandon Brantley. Got another super chat here from, let's see. Got one here from Rob U, thank you for tripling up. Rob U, greatly appreciate you. Rob U, who writes, let's hope Lucas and Christian are not out for an extended period because Sharp is a strip sack waiting to happen. He was getting abused. I agree. Obviously, it's tough to come in a situation where you're cold off the bench in the fourth quarter in some crucial situations. For the most part, he held up, but yeah, I wouldn't want to bank on that guy being in. Let's hope that neither one of those guys. Let's hope, first of all, I'm not putting any eggs in the Jaron Christian basket because this guy hasn't really practiced, So I find it hard to believe that all of a sudden he's ready to take a full week's worth of reps and be ready to play next week. So it's really, you're basing it on the health of Cornelius Lucas at this point. Can he come back and function next week? Don't know the extent of the injury. Usually when a guy doesn't come back, it's a little bit more serious than you would like it to be. And so the fact that he nor DeShazer came back, I'm a little nervous about him and Shays moving forward. The injuries are starting to mount. They're starting to pile up. And that's one of the most critical positions. Morgan Moses did a bang-up job moving to left, but he's a right tackle. I thought he deserves a game ball for that because you know how hard it is in game to make the switch from right to left tackle? Everything is different. Your steps are different. Your movements are different. How you push off is different. Everything's different, and he was rock solid on that blind side. So something will have to be done. We'll see what they decide to do, but that's not a good position to be in, down another tackle. Got a super chat here from Kevin Dorofield. Thank you for the super chat, Kevin Dorofield, who writes, upside, Gibson played well again. We will be great when we get that confidence going. Love the beanie, Lou. Gotta cop me one of those. I appreciate that, man. Gibson did play well. He wasn't great in this game, but I thought he ran tough. And that's the thing I love about Antonio Gibson is that he's a physical guy. I thought he left some more meat on the bone on that one run where he breaks the tackle and then cuts it back and gets to the inside. And I'm like, all right, you got one more cut and then we off to the races. And he runs like he's got a problem running into his own teammates. Remember in the Eagles game, he ran right into Dontrell Inman. And then in this game, he runs over Cam Sims and Sims gets up injured. Like, come on, guys, stop running into people. He doesn't have tremendous balance, this Gibson, but boy, does he run hard. He runs physical. Thank you for the super chat, my man KD. Malik Ross, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Malik Ross writes, this team will never get right. I'm sorry. Ever. It feels that way sometimes, doesn't it? It feels that way. I can't. There's nothing for me to say to you right now to convince you otherwise. And as long as Daniel Snyder owns this team, it's hard for us to really get out of our own way. I feel like, it's. I don't want to say it's cursed. I know a lot of people like to. I'm not a cursed guy. I just think he's a dark cloud over this organization, and it's hard to get right with a guy like him hovering over this thing. Every now and again he does something that puts us in a tough spot, like goes against the entire draft staff and demands that we draft Dwayne Haskins. Like those types of things will make you a losing organization. If that's not what the evaluators wanted to do, you can't force them to do something that they don't believe in. That's why we are what we are. Because you can't waste first round picks and you can't get it wrong at that position. If you do, it's going to set your organization back 5 years. And that's why we keep having to hit the reset button. We did it with Robert Griffin III. We didn't take advantage of re-signing Kirk Cousins. And now you find yourself in this position with Dwayne, and now you got to hit the reset button again. And when you keep doing that, you just keep starting the process over and over again. You never really give yourself a chance. Got a super chat here from Enigma RJ. Thank you for the super chat, Enigma RJ. Greatly appreciate you, Enigma RJ, who writes, "Sup, Louie? Good games towards the end, but watching Washington made me realize I need to stop smoking cigarettes. I love this team, the only team that make and breaks my week." I used to be that same exact way when it came to having a good or a bad day or a good, well, not necessarily week. They didn't make or break my week, but my Sunday would be wrecked. We lose a game, oh man, the rest of my day would just be awful. And that's why I said this whole format, this show, is so therapeutic for me because I get a lot of that venom out. And then I'm like, it's almost like I just ate a Halls. And I was stuffy after the game, pissed off, don't feel good. And then I come up here, and this is like a Halls cough drop for me. And then on top of that, I got some Vicks Vapor Rub right here around the nose, right around the nostril area, a little bit on the throat, here on the chest as well. And I'm just taking in all of that eucalyptus. And I feel so much better. It opens me up. I get all of that venom out, and I feel good. So I don't really take them as hard as I used to. And maybe that's a byproduct of this team just stinking too. And you expecting this so you don't get as upset when they don't get it done. A week ago, this loss would have hurt because I was still invested. I was like, oh, we got a chance. That died last week, man. So I'm a lot more jovial this week, even after a loss, because I expected it. I'm just happy the guys played hard and that this didn't turn into a 34-13 ass whooping or a 34-17 ass whooping. Instead, we had a shot, and I feel good about that. I love the fact that the guys continued to compete and gave us a chance in this game. I love it. I'd like to win, but yeah, what can you do? Lorenzo Simpson, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My man Zoe writes, D-line hasn't been good since Ioannidis, period. John Allen isn't worth top dollar. I expected more from the defensive tackles. Look, I've explained this to you guys many a times, and you're absolutely right about the defensive line not being what it was since Matt Ioannidis. I told you the minute that man got hurt and was done for the year, I said, this defensive line will never be the same this season. And I don't think enough people understand the impact of what Matt Ioannidis means because nobody else on the interior of this defensive line is capable of getting pressure, which is why I don't understand why Jack Del Rio, in obvious passing situations, doesn't kick a Chase Young or a Ryan Kerrigan inside to give the defense a different look. It's a lot harder to triple team and double team Chase Young if you move him around. It's easy when you know he's going to be either on the left or the right. How about you stand him up and walk him around and you blitz him? Like, you got to get creative with this guy. We're not doing any of these things. We're just lining him up. Defensive end, they gotta line him up on the defensive end, left or right. Well, guess what? They're going to be able to chip him. I'd love to see them move him around, do some creative things. They're not doing that right now. And I don't think John Allen, I've already said John Allen isn't worth top dollar. I've said that a long time ago. He's a great leader. He works hard. He's the kind of guy you want in the locker room. All of those things are true. But at the end of the day, you pay top dollar for guys that can get to the quarterback and stop the run. John Allen can stop the run. He cannot get to the quarterback. And for me, that's a no-no. So if they want him back and he wants to be back, it needs to be on a deal that is reflective of what you are as a football player. If he's a realist, if his agent is a realist, and they're willing to take some money that reflects what he is for this team, I want him back. I definitely want him back. If he thinks he's better than what he is and he thinks he can get big money on the market, my man, go out there and do your thing. And if you get it, my blessings go to you, and I wish you nothing but the best. But he should not be paid a cent over $8 million per year. 4-year, $32 million contract. I would love to have Jonathan Allen back. Love it, love it, love it. If he gets a penny more, I think we overpaid. Got another super chat here from William Lee. Thank you for the super chat, William Lee. Greatly appreciate you. William writes, we don't have wide receivers that can get open. Only when the other team's defense is up big and starts to play soft do our wide receivers emerge. We have to draft a receiver. I tried to psych myself up about Cam Sims and Steven Sims, and I never was really high on Isaiah Wright. And he's a solid football player, but don't get me wrong. But and look, Antonio Gandy Golden, man, eventually could be something. Well, he's been hurt. We haven't seen it. We've got to draft another dude. Got to. We got to upgrade the receiver position. We just got a bunch of stuff. We got a bunch of 3s and 4s on our team. After Terry, there's a significant drop-off. I don't think there's a number 2 wide receiver on our team right now. Love Cam Sims as a third option. He'd be the perfect third option in this league. I feel really confident that you can go to Cam Sims in a crucial third down situation, as we saw today, and he'll be able to catch the football and make a play for you. I love Cam Sims as a third option. We don't have a second option right now. We don't have a clear number 2, and I don't think that guy's on the roster. That guy's not Kelvin Harmon either. So, for me, there has to be an emphasis on getting a big-time wide receiver in the offseason, whether that's via the draft or free agency. Like, Corey Davis would be a perfect fit for this football team. Again, if the Titans are dumb enough to let this man test free agency, I'd love to throw some money at Corey Davis and make him a Washington football team member. But at the end of the day, we got to do something at receivers. What we have isn't good enough. It's just not. I got Munson 1. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. I got Munson 1 writes, can't stand that soft-ass defensive call to give them a free 10 yards to get in the field goal range. At least get up and challenge wide receivers. That was my whole thing there. It's like everybody said the sticks. You are aware that all they need is 8-9 yards to get into Matt Prater field goal range. So what if you give something up over the top? They'll run out of time. Like, they literally called that timeout with 3 seconds. If you come up and jam them and Stafford goes over the top and you tackle that receiver inbounds or you push him out of bounds, game's over. Game's done. So the fact that you're giving up, you're conceding 8-9 yards means you want to lose this football game. Get up and delete the airspace and get in their damn face and make them earn it. But again, I can't call it. I don't know if that's what they were told to do. I'm pretty sure that that's what they were told to do. It wasn't smart. It started with the Chase Young play. That wasn't smart. And then that coverage on the back end on that last offensive snap for Detroit wasn't smart. Wasn't smart. I'm with you. I got Munson. I really don't understand that. Jay Hunter Lee. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Jay Hunter Lee. Greatly appreciate you. Jay Hunter Lee writes, every time Hopkins comes out to kick, I get nervous, even on extra points. Look, for me, I'm only nervous with Hop when he hasn't missed yet. That's when I'm nervous. Once he gets his one obligatory miss out of the way, I'm like, oh, I'm good now. When we were in the comments of the Mob Squad, MOBB stand up, we in the building. Before Hop even trotted out to the field, I already said, overtime. We good, tie ball game. I said, he already got his miss out of the way. I said, trust me, guys. Everybody was all nervous. Oh, I can't look. Oh, my God. Don't piss me off. Like, there was so many people nervous. I'm like, I wasn't nervous at all. He had already got his miss out of the way. The problem is we can't afford those misses. If he hadn't missed at the beginning of the game, that field goal at the end of the game would have been to tie it, not to win it. We would have been ahead with a chance to win the game. And that's what I'm talking about. We're not good enough to miss a field goal. We're not good enough to have Terry fumble before the half. We're not good enough for Alex Smith to miss J.D. McKissick on a potential touchdown. We're not good enough to make those types of mistakes. Good team. The Chiefs can overcome that. The Packers can overcome that. Aaron Rodgers threw an egregious pick today versus Jacksonville. Gave up a ridiculous 92-yard punt return for a touchdown the Packers did in this game. They can overcome that. They're good enough. We're not. We can't make those mistakes and think that we can win because we're not good enough. So that's the problem with D-Hop right now is that you know he's going to miss if he kicks more than 2 field goals in a game. You know he's going to miss. When is that miss coming is the question. He usually gets it out of his system early, and he did. And so I was confident he was going to make all his kicks the rest of the way. But that's still a problem in itself that you're expecting a miss. Thank you for doubling up, Lorenzo Simpson. Really appreciate you, Zoe, as always. Got another super chat here. Let's see who it's from. Got a super chat here from Barrett Down and my man BD. Thank you for the super chat, BD. Always appreciate you. Who writes, we compete to the end. SMMFGDH. I don't even know what the hell that means. Shaking my mother effing goddamn head is what I'm assuming that means. Woo, you put a lot of them there together there, buddy. Yeah, man. We competed to the end. And that's all I can give you. That's all I got for you. If you're looking for optimism from me, is that Alex Smith proved me wrong today. 0-0 for Alex Smith. Okay. I was wrong, Alex. Maybe you got something left. Again, you got to protect Alex because if you don't, Alex is going to take sacks. Well, they protected him for the most part today, and Alex was able to deliver and give us a shot. And the guys fought hard. That's all I got for you. Alex Smith battled his ass off, and I thought the offensive line was good for much of the day. Terry was good again, but he fumbled the football. Can't have your best players doing that. But that's going to happen. Mistakes are going to happen. Nobody's perfect. And we fought. That's pretty, and defense stepped up in the third, in late third, through the fourth, where they got 3 consecutive stops that allowed us to get 3 straight touchdowns. That's all I got for you, man. But it is what it is. Got a super chat here from Cruisin26. Thank you for the super chat, Cruisin26, who writes, I know you guys regret not drafting Tua or Herbert. I don't. I think Chase Young is going to be a hell of a football player in this league for a very long time. I'm still not 100% sold on Tua because he's one hit away from being right back to the Tua that we saw at Alabama that could never stay healthy. As for Herbert, I didn't expect Herbert to do this. And for me to sit here and have revisionist history and act as if I was all over Justin Herbert coming out, I wasn't a big Justin Herbert fan coming out of Oregon. I said he's toolsy. He can do everything, but I don't trust him. He reminds me a lot of Marcus Mariota, and I was good. So for me to sit here and act like, oh, man, we should have that was never my thing. I never wanted to do that. So I don't regret it at all. And I love Chase Young, and I think he's going to be a hell of a football player in this league. Too many people are expecting too many things from guys. I can't state this enough. Khalil Mack had 4.5 sacks in his rookie season. Again, you guys want people to jump off the bus and come out of the gate with 15.5 sacks. And while that's great, I told you guys the minute Chase had a breakout game, and I was hoping that Chase would just string along 3 or 4 early good games, a sack here, a half a sack there, another sack, and so that they wouldn't double team him so early. The man came out of the gate week 1 with a sack and a half. What the hell did you think was going to happen after he did that? Had another sack the next week versus Arizona. What did you think they were going to do after that? Oh, he's as good as advertised. We're gonna double and triple team him now. Like, what did you think was going to happen after that? I was just hoping he could get through the first 4 or 5 weeks without the rest of the league knowing, oh yeah, he's as good as advertised. What? He came out of the gate week 1. You had to know right after that he was going to see a steady diet of double and triples, and he has. Got to win when you get it one-on-one, though. That's the thing he's not doing right now. I think he's thinking too much. I expect the game to slow down for him. He's trying to do too much, and he's just not doing what got him here. And once he gets back to that, he'll be fine. Got a super chat here from Melvin Gloson. Thank you for the super chat, Melvin Gloson. Greatly appreciate you. Melvin writes, your paradigm on us winning these games and building a winning culture, letting the chips lie where they fall is contagious. I now feel the same. Again, for me, that's what it's all about. If you want to build a winning culture, they have to first learn how to win. The only way you learn how to win is by winning football games. I love the fight that this team has. It's refreshing to see that this team isn't going to quit. And I know I got a bunch of young, hungry studs on this football team that once we are able to put it all together, we clean up a couple of positional issues that we have. You clean up some of the mistakes that we have. Once you get some of it, we got some guys on this team. Like, this isn't like a couple of years ago where we were just void of talent. It was like, man, the future's bleak because we really don't have anything. I'm excited about some guys on this team. I really like some of the guys. I love Logan Thomas as a number 2 tight end. I really do. I hope they don't think he's a number 1, but I love him as a number 2. How about that catch on 4th down? Without that catch, there's no 24-24. There's no 21 unanswered points to tie the game. If Logan Thomas doesn't, and yes, he had a bad false start right before that. I understand. But he redeemed himself the very next play. That's a great catch. He had to go down and dig it out. He can play, guys. Logan Thomas is not trash. He's a good football player. How about J.D. McKissick and Antonio Gibson? I like those guys. I really do. How about Terry McLaurin? I know you love Terry. We all do. All right. I like Cam Sims as a 3rd option. I really do. I still think Steven Sims Jr. can play. I do think that. I think he's lacking a little bit of confidence. He came into the season with a ton of confidence. He hasn't played well. He got injured, and I think he's lacking confidence right now. He'll be fine. I like him. I like the defensive line, despite you guys thinking they stink. They don't stink. They're just not performing to the level that we want them to. But I love Young. I love Sweat. I love Allen. I love Payne. I don't love Allen at $10 million per. I love Allen at $8 million per. If he thinks he can get more, bye. See you later. Nice having you, bruh. But if he wants to be here and he'll take the money that we're offering him and it's not an inordinate amount, I'd love to have him back. They're good football players. We're hurting at linebacker. There's no denying that. We're hurting at linebacker. We could use an upgrade at safety. Absolutely. Would welcome that. Cornerback position, sure. Another corner or two wouldn't hurt. But there is some talent on this team. I am not feeling the same way I felt 2 years ago where I was like, there's no hope. We stink. There is nothing here that gets me excited about the future of this football team. We got to fix the quarterback position. There's no denying that. But I see hope. I see a team that continues to fight. I like what I see. And I think we'll be okay. But we're going to continue. I told you we were young and there were going to be growing pains that come with being young. You're seeing it on a weekly basis. Mistakes, turnovers, missed opportunities, big plays being given up. All of this stuff is the things of young teams. This is what they do. Lack of communication on the back end, missed assignment here, missed tackle there. You got to give credit. DeAndre Swift is a damn good running back. You saw it today. Dude's stupid talented. We knew that coming out of Georgia. He made us look foolish a couple of times today. He's a good football player. Shit's going to happen. Some guys, you got to give them credit too. They get paid just like we do. But I like the direction we're heading in. We want it to start manifesting itself into wins, but I like the effort that the guys are putting forth. We don't have a team full of losers. Guys that are okay with, hey, I'm getting a check on Wednesday, I'll be fine, whether we win or lose. We don't have guys like that. We got guys on this team that want to win. And I can accept that, and I can ride with these dudes. Thank you for the super chat, Melvin. Got one here from Kevin, the PRF. Greatly appreciate it. I think that's a double up for you, Kev. Double up. I think so. We're just going to double up just in case. Kevin writes, anyone picking on Talib needs to go back and watch when Fox rolled out Emmitt Smith and Nate Newton. In comparison, Talib is Socrates. I don't remember that, but I just know that not everybody is built for the booth, but you give them a chance to prove that they can or they can't. I thought Aqib Talib got better as the game wore on. And I like Aqib Talib. I really do. Robert Gamble Jr., thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Robert writes, how are you doing, Louie? Cam Sims is getting better every game, bro. I like Cam Sims a lot. I like him a lot. He's not a number 2 wide receiver. Some of you were, I had some people, and I think they were being facetious, so I'm not calling out anybody, but had a couple of people in the mob squad talking about he's a number 1. Whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down. Slow down. I just want to get to know you. I just need to know what the hell you're thinking when you think Cam Sims is a number 1. What constitutes a number 1 wide receiver? If you are being serious, if you were just joking, okay, cool, I get it, but if you were being serious, we need to actually have a real discussion on what constitutes a number 1 and a number 2 wide receiver, because Cam Sims is not it. But I like Cam Sims. He's a hell of a number 3 option. I take him all day long, twice on Sundays, 3 times on Mondays, and 4 times on Thursdays as a number 3 in this league. He's gaining confidence. Cam Sims always was big. He was always quick and had the ability. Confidence is the key. Anybody will tell you that. It's confidence. He's gaining confidence every week. Got another super chat here from Metaphor. Thank you for the super chat, Metaphor, who writes, propose a Kickstarter to raise the capital to buy Snyder out. Hop the D and beating ourselves, just good enough to break our hearts. It doesn't matter how much money you raise to buy. He has to want to sell. You can't buy. This isn't, a situation where we're on the board, and everyone has equal shares in the company and you can vote him out. He owns this team. He owns the most shares of this team. He has to want to sell. He doesn't want to sell. So by virtue of that, there is no selling of the team. Unless the league forces him to sell, which I don't see happening, he's not going anywhere. So that's why I don't even waste my time nor energy on focusing on something that we can't change. You know, we as fans had the power to get a Bruce Allen out of there. You know, because we could stop buying merchandise, stop going to games, and really get him to feel it in his pockets. That's what, and we didn't win, but ultimately, I felt like we had a hand in, and we said enough is enough. We stopped going to games, we stopped buying merchandise, we stopped buying concession and going to the games and giving him revenue for parking and all kinds of stupid shit. And he started to say, you know what? Gotta blame somebody. It's not my fault, which it is his fault. Not my fault. Gotta blame Bruce. Got Bruce the hell out of there. But D-Hop and the defense weren't good enough. And at some point with Dustin, you have to be able to not say that anymore. And I love Dustin, and I think he's a good kicker. But good kickers in this league are hitting it at about an 85 to 88% clip. He's already missed 7 kicks this year. For the best kickers in the league, that's a 2 or 3 year stretch. We're 9 games into the season and the man's already missed 7 kicks. Second most in the league, only to Stephen Gostkowski of the Titans. At some point, you have to say to yourself, this guy's costing us points. And with a team with a very small margin of error, he's costing us games. So we're going to have to look elsewhere. Kare Vedvik, you're up. If I'm Ron Rivera, I'm taking a hard, long look at Kare Vedvik this week. I am. I just need to know, can we upgrade this position or not? And really with Dustin, it's just a confidence thing. We know he's capable. But he's got to be more consistent. And that, honestly, outside of last year, he hasn't been consistent. You know, he's cost us games in the past. So, you know, at some point they're going to have to look at Dustin and say, you know what? Man, we love you, bruh, but this ain't good enough. It ain't good enough. Thank you for the super chat metaphor. Got one from my man JP. Thank you for the super chat. JP John writes, done with this team for the year. Hey, we'll be here. Whether you're done or you're not done, we'll be here. You can't quit on the team, man. That's not how this works. You can't quit on the team and like the team when it's convenient for you. You got to go through the ups and the downs and be there. And so that's what makes it special. When you finally do get to that pinnacle and you finally start winning, you can say, man, I remember when, ... You know, these are tough. I get it. It's tough to sit there and stomach these week after week. But that's what's going to make it sweet. I don't know when the hell we're finally going to get over the hump. And we're going to get to look back on all of these times that we sat here bitching and moaning and complaining after a tough loss. But it's going to happen eventually. Even if it's only 1 year, we get that flash in the pan season like 2012 or 2015. It's going to happen eventually. But if we find a right quarterback, it's something that we might be able to sustain. We'll see. Got another super chat here from JP. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, JP. Greatly appreciate you. My man John writes, is there no end in sight to this losing? If so, we'll be dead by the time we start winning again. Look, I get that. I get that. Even for the youngest fan, you know, the 17, 18-year-old, 16-year-old out there that's never seen this team win, you feel like it's hopelessness and that we'll never win. And by the time you're 70, this team will finally turn it around. And maybe that is the case. But I can't allow myself to think that way. You know, I believe in Ron. I believe in Jack Del Rio. I believe in some of these players on this football team. I believe in, and more importantly, I believe in Kyle Smith. And I think at the end of the day, that's what's going to help this team turn things around. Is if Kyle Smith is what I think he is as a player evaluator, he's going to help us turn this thing around. I really do believe that. King of the North, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for tripling up, King of the North. Really appreciate you. My man, King of the North, writes, Alex may play himself into a starting role next year. Maybe he plays well enough to garner some trade interest. We need a young stud at QB. I don't think anybody's going to trade for Alex Smith, although that would be great if we could move him. He's on a very affordable contract, but I just don't see anybody looking to add a veteran that's going to cost them $20 million a year, upwards of $20 million a year, when you could just go get you a Ryan Fitzpatrick for super cheap and start him. Like there are too many of those guys out there that you can get by with as a bridge if you got a young guy, because Alex is nobody's starting quarterback for the next 5 years. You know, he's a bridge at this point of his career. So, now I won't disagree with that. Alex may be playing himself into a starting role, because even if you draft a young guy, he may not be ready to start right away. You know, the new thing that's in vogue is to let the young guys sit. So if you got a veteran that you're paying a bunch of money like Alex Smith, you just roll him out there and you say, hey, go get him. And then when, you know, the season's either done or you feel good like the Dolphins did, hell, you're 3-3, you feel good about your team, you roll the youngin out there after a bye week. You know, we'll see what happens. Right now, I'd much rather sign Kyle Allen back, roll with him, and move on from Alex, just because it'll save us money. But if they decided we're going to let Kyle roll out and keep Alex because we already got him under contract, I wouldn't have a problem with that either. I really wouldn't. Because at the end of the day, I don't think either one of those guys are a means to an end. You still have to go out and either draft or sign a veteran. You still got to go out and get a guy that's going to be the future of this franchise, because that guy's not on the roster right now. So I don't think it really matters either way. Mark Mullinex, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Mark Mullinex writes, LOL, I told you so. What did you tell me, Mark? You probably are right. You probably did tell me something. I just don't remember what it is. Refresh my memory, if you will. My man Zoe, thank you for tripling up, Zoe. Greatly appreciate you. Lorenzo Simpson writes, how long until tackle Charles returns? We might need a tackle. That's a great question. He wasn't at practice last week. So, again, much like Jaron Christian, hard for me to buy that a guy isn't at practice all last week and then just shows up and is ready to go. Generally, you work your way back slowly. So even if he doesn't play next week, but he gets in a couple of limited days at practice, that would be a more encouraging sign than Sadiq's not even out there. Jaron's not even out there. So I told you it would be the Cincinnati game before we could really have a Sadiq Charles discussion on a dislocated kneecap. I think this is the week where we start hearing about him getting out there to practice. I still don't think he plays next week. But we gotta wait to find out the severity of the injuries to Shays and to Cornelius Lucas, because those are two pivotal positions for us. We don't have a lot of depth at either one right now. Our depth is being tested. You know, the worst teams in the league, it's not the amount of injuries you have, it's the amount of injuries you have to a specific position. And we're starting to get to that point now where we're getting hit hard at specific positions. We're pretty good everywhere. In terms of health, we're not really that banged up at this point of the season, but we've been hit hard at safety. And now we're getting hit hard at tackle. And it becomes a tough task and a chore to overcome injuries at the same spot over and over and over again. But that's a good point, Zoe. Sadiq Charles, we've been running him at guard, though. So I don't really know if he's a guy that they really want to fan back out to tackle. But in these times where you're starting to have some issues with depth, that might be something that they may be able to do. Let's take a look at Sadiq Charles back out at the tackle position. Santiago Tradell, thank you for the super chat. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Santiago Tradell. It might be triple up, too. I know you hit me early. Might have hit me early twice. Either way, I really appreciate you. Who writes, in less than 2 weeks, we have went from almost first in the division to sole last. Cam Sims earning more touches for sure. Yeah, this division stinks, though. So it wasn't hard to go from first to last in a matter of 2 weeks because everybody was so jumbled up. You know, a win here. The Giants they were one-win team 2 weeks ago. I said on this program, the Giants stink. Don't even consider them for the division. They're in first place. They're in first place right now, the Giants. Now, they're not in first place. I take that back. They're a half game. That tie is keeping the Eagles in first place. But for all intents and purposes, the Giants, They might be in a driver's seat now. Think about it. They still got a Dallas get out of jail free card. And that's not till week 17, mind you. But they don't have the schedule that the Eagles have. The Eagles' schedule is about to become brutal. Brutal. Okay? We aren't going to win many more games this season. You know, if we really wanted to win the division, we needed to win today. We're not going to win many more games this season. And Dallas is a train wreck. So I'm looking at the Giants and saying, if you want this division, go get it. It's yours. Go take it. So we'll see. And the Giants look good today. I don't know if you guys didn't watch the game. I watched the game. The Giants looked good today. As far as Cam Sims, he's earning more opportunities. He's earning more playing time. And that's all you want is give me more opportunities to play. The more I play, the more opportunities I'll get to catch the football. And I think he's earned the trust of this staff. That's the first thing you have to do. And now he's starting to earn the trust of Alex Smith. And once you do that, you're going to get more opportunities. And I think you're going to see that from Cam Sims the remainder of the season. Rob Yu, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for tripling up. Rob Yu, greatly appreciate you. Rob Yu, who writes, MLB continues to be a major issue. Yeah, middle linebackers are problem. And it's not something that's going to be addressed until the offseason. So I'm going to stop harping on it as much. When it's there, I'm going to point it out in film. But they've made their decision already. If they were going to make a move, they didn't waste any time benching Apke. They didn't waste any time benching Dwayne. If they were going to bench John Bostic, they would have done it already, which means they're not going to do it. Okay, so they are at practice every day. They see it, so they must know something that we don't know about Sean Dion and some of the other guys out there. Don't tell me that we want to take a look at these young guys. John Bostic is not a young guy. This is like year 7 for John Bostic in the league. He's not a young guy. He's not a part of the future. All right. I might be over exaggerating. Might not be year 7 for John Bostic. It might be more like year 5 or 6. But he's not a young guy. He's not the guy that's going to be the leader of this linebacker core moving forward. So don't talk to me about we want to see the young guys play. You want to see the young guys play? Put Sean Dion Hamilton in the game. But they're at practice every day, so I can't tell them what they should or shouldn't do. Johnny D, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Johnny D writes, Giants fan here. Love watching your stream. Keep up the good content, Louie T. Watch the fans. Keep your heads up. All right, we appreciate that, Johnny. We need one of those from an outside voice today. We need to pick me up, man. I just want to tell you, Johnny, your boys look good today too, man. That was an impressive win. Daniel Jones using the wheels, making a couple of big throws, and most importantly, not turning the football over today was key. The Eagles stink. They're trash. My God, this division is awful. The Giants, right now, the Giants are the best team. It's crazy because I remember a few weeks ago, I said the Giants are dead. Don't talk to me about the Giants. The Giants are the best team in the division. It's crazy. They were just 1-7. They're 3-7, and we're talking about the Giants being the best team in the division. But they look like it. They really do. Got a super chat from Kevin Dorfield. Double up. Thank you for the super chat, KD. Greatly appreciate you. KD writes, start the hashtag bench Bostic movement. I'm in. I might have to start something, man. But again, they don't pay attention to that stuff. You know, if you really want to try to get something done, you got to at Ron's daughter. You know, I think he's got a Twitter account that his daughter runs. At Coach Rivera and flood it with hashtag bench Bostic. I don't know if it's going to make a difference, but he talks to his daughter every day. Maybe it will. But they're not going to bench him. So don't waste your time. Robert Gamble Jr. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Robert Gamble Jr. Really appreciate you for doubling up. Robert, who writes, I'm hungry for a win. Not sure if it's going to happen this season, but I'm really hungry for a win. Hey, man. Get you a dub. We might get one in the next 2 weeks. We got Cincinnati and Dallas coming up. I won't hold my breath against Cincinnati. I'm looking at Dallas, and I'm real hungry for a sweep. That's the next opportunity to get a dub. But, you know, the Bengals aren't world beaters. They're a 2-win team just like us. I expect them to get their brains bashed in today versus the Steelers. They'll be there right for the picking next week. Why not? It's a young quarterback. Why not? But if we can't win one in the next 2 weeks, we're not going to win any more the rest of the season. That's essentially where I'm at with mine. We got to win one more in the next 2 weeks. I didn't expect us to beat Detroit, and I think we've got a shot in the next 2 weeks to win. If you can do that, then you have a shot to, as crazy as this sounds, you got a shot in the division still, because I don't think the Giants are going to run away and hide like all of a sudden. The Giants, all of their wins have come against the division. They haven't beaten a team outside the division yet. The Eagles, I don't know if they're going to win another game outside the division either. Maybe one or two. But they got the Packers and the Saints and all of these tough teams coming up on their schedule. Like, their schedule just becomes brutal. All right? So, I just don't see. And they haven't played the Steelers. Yes, they have played the Steelers. I take that back. They haven't played the Browns yet. That's the one team in that division that they haven't played yet. I just think that as bad as the division is, we're still not dead technically. But I told you last week I was done with the division talk. So, I'm not going to bring that up now. But I'm hungry for a win too, man. I'm starving. I'd like to get one over the next 2 weeks, if at all possible. Carlton Pagano Jackson, thank you for the super chat, Carlton. Really appreciate you. Carlton writes, it was hard watching knowing we'll lose the game because of ourselves. Time to look at QBs for next season and linebackers. Hashtag Mob Squad. Yeah, it's time to look at a lot of positions. Time to look at tight end. Time to look at wide receiver. Time to look at safety. Like, there's a lot of positions, depending on what we do in free agency. Time to look at the offensive line. You may need another guard. I think you have to prioritize what it is you need, however. And obviously, you take best player available. You're not going to reach for a second round guard if you got a fourth round projection on him. Just because you need guard. If the best player available is a safety, and maybe safety is a little bit further down the list of needs, or maybe it's a tight end might be a little further down the list of needs for you, you still take that guy because it's going to help your football team. The better the player, the better it helps your football team. So you got to prioritize. And I think that'll be the first thing is, what do we do in the offseason, free agency wise? That will tell the story as to what we need in the draft. We could need, quarterback, linebacker, tight end, wide receiver, safety, linebacker, all going into free agency, and then we come out of free agency with a receiver, a backer, and another guard, and we're like, okay, now we just need a quarterback, a safety, and you start and you start filling in some of the blanks in the draft. So we'll see what they decide to do. Let's see. Got a super chat here from Kevin the PRF. Thank you for tripling up, Kev. Really appreciate you. Kevin the PRF writes, I really want to resign all of our first rounders, but I'm nervous there is some team out there throwing clipboards over their John Bostic at defensive tackle that would throw money at Allen. It could happen. Again, I've always said somebody's always eyeballing your stuff. You feel one way about your items, somebody's looking at your stuff saying, man, what that guy could do for us. So, and John Allen could be one of those players that another team is looking for, a stout interior defensive tackle. Could care less if he can get after the quarterback. They need to help shore up their run defense. Well, John Allen will help you do that. So, somebody could be out there looking for, and in John's mind, he could be thinking, I'm sick of this shit. And the team, let's say it's Green Bay. They look at John Allen because Green Bay can't stop the run right now. They're struggling. And they need help up front along their defensive line. And look, John Allen isn't a free agent this upcoming offseason. Okay, he's still got one more year because we picked up the 5th-year option. So it's not like he's going anywhere now. We don't have to make a decision on him now. But, you usually like to get these things done a year before the contract expires. So you don't get to a point where you got to make a decision on a franchise tag or let them hit free agency. So they'll be looking to try to negotiate with him if they really want him back this offseason. But a team like Green Bay, for instance, who can't stop the run, they may be like, look, we don't need you to get to the quarterback. We got dudes for that. Just to help us stop the run. And they may be willing to throw him $9-10 million a year for it. If that's the case, knock yourself out. I'm not willing to go there, for John Allen right now. I'm not. Mark Mullenix, thank you for doubling up. Thank you for doubling up. Mark Mullenix, my man Double M writes, about Alex needing to just knock the rust off his leg under him, LOL. Okay. Yeah, you were right. There were a couple of you, I think you were adamant. There were a couple of other people that thought that Alex would come out and ball today. Still didn't result in a win, but Alex did enough to give us a chance. He missed some opportunities, but all in all, he gave us a chance to win this football game. I thought it was a ticky-tack pass interference call on that 4th down when the game should have been over on that slant. I need Scott Turner to come with a better call than that. You know, there are a couple of times this game where I say, "Hey Scott, that ain't good enough. Not good enough." They're sitting on slants. You see how he ran the slant for Terry. If he wasn't so handsy, if he just goes to try to pick it off, it's a pick. But he got handsy and he started trying to manhandle Terry. He didn't need to do that. But you were right about Alex. He started off kind of slow. I thought he started fast on the first possession. Then I thought he got kind of slow on me from after the second possession all the way until the midpoint of the third quarter. And then that's when he started to heat up again. Christian Sorto, thank you for the super chat. Christian, greatly appreciate you. Who writes, I've been seeing it coming. I'm not surprised. If you've been a fan of this team long enough, this shouldn't surprise you at all. These are the kind of games that we've lost. We've lost many more of these than we've won over the years, for sure. We've hit our hour mark. Got no more comments. We'll break the game down in greater detail tomorrow. We'll go through the keys to the game and see how we did in that department. Again, I can tell you right now, without even looking at them, we failed miserably again. But we'll go through all of those things. I'll give you some analysis of the game, my synopsis of where we are, and I'll dive into the film, and we'll see what happens and where we go from here. But, you know, as crazy as this sounds, and I know you don't want to hear this today, and I don't want to hear this today because I don't give a shit. The Giants beat the Eagles. The first place team in our division has 3 wins. We're 1 game back in the loss column. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying this. This is crazy. We're 1 game back in the win column. I think I just said loss. I meant win column. We're 1 game back in the win column. Are you kidding me? How is this even possible? Let me hold on. Do the Eagles have 4 wins or 3 wins? Let me check. I think I've been making a mistake today. I think the Eagles have 4 wins, not 3. And they had a chance to get to 5 today. Nope, the Eagles had 3 wins. 1 game back in the win column. Oh my God. This division is so terrible. So as bad as we've played, as bad as we are, you are a 2-game winning streak away. And it's not inconceivable. Beat Cincinnati, beat Dallas. And we could be on a mini bye week after Thanksgiving talking cold hard turkey again about the season. We could be in another beat Dallas, go into a mini bye situation, feeling really good about ourselves, talking all kinds of cash on that little mini off bye week that we'll get after playing Thursday. And we could be in first place. I'm not doing this to y'all because I'm not doing this to myself. This shit is stupid. Anyway, got one more super chat. 99 Problems Chase Ain't One writes, thank you for the super chat first and foremost. Greatly appreciate you. 99 Problems Chase Ain't One. And that's a real true statement. We got 99 problems. Chase ain't one of them. For some of you trying to make it a problem, he ain't one of them. Okay? Bro, this D-line is not producing. Let's talk about that. How many sacks did we have? Jay Allen can go. I need more. Matt is the only one I'll re-sign. Well, Matt's already been re-signed to a 3-year extension like 2 years ago. So he's got like 2 more years on his deal, I believe. So he's not going anywhere. But no, that's facts. That's absolutely facts. You can't put everything on the linebackers. You know, we try to deflect some of the blame away from the defensive line, but they weren't good against the Giants last week. They weren't good this week. I don't know if we sacked Matthew Stafford one time in this game. I think we pressured him a couple of times. I don't know if we sacked him one time. He was rather comfortable back there in this game. Don't think we had the one hit on him. We did sack him once. I take that back, though. One where Chase Young almost picked up a foolish face mask, hands to the helmet penalty, whatever they were going to call that they picked up. We sacked him on a blitz there. Outside of that, we didn't really get to Matthew Stafford very often in this game. When we just rushed 4, it was crickets for the most part. Don't think that there was a consistent rush that forced Matthew Stafford to flush the pocket or anything of the sort. So, No, I mean, the line has to be better. You spend all these first round picks, but you also got to know what you're investing in. You know, Montez Sweat and Chase Young, I got utmost confidence in those guys. They're going to continue to mature and grow. They're going to get better. Montez drew a holding penalty in this game. Those two guys, I'm bullish on them. The other two guys as pass rushers, I got nothing for you. You already know how I feel about them. I will vouch for Daron Payne as an elite run defender, and so I don't have a Daron Payne problem. Jonathan Allen is not elite at anything. So that's why I have a John Allen problem, but he's an elite worker and an elite locker room guy. And there is something to be said about that, but there's a price tag that comes with that as well. You know, there's a specific amount of money that I'm willing to pay for a guy that doesn't produce big numbers on the field, but rather has a big impact off it. There's a number that's attached to that, and it's not a very lucrative one either. Got one here from Santiago Tradell. Thank you for the super chat. I think that's 4 for you now. Really appreciate you, Santiago, who writes, if they let Alex throw all out, winning still is possible. We'll see, man. There's still a bit of a mirage with this Alex Smith thing. Like, because if I thought Detroit had the right idea early, and for whatever reason, they stopped blitzing, to me, that was the stupidest thing that they did in the game. Alex can't move. They saw it early in the game when they came after him. You come after Alex Smith, he's going to vacate the pocket. He can't move. They stopped coming after him, and he started shredding them. So if I'm a team playing against us, I am sending the kitchen sink every opportunity I get against Alex Smith and forcing him to have to beat me with underneath throws, not letting him sit back, get comfortable in the pocket, and be able to push it down the field. He's going to have to take all these check downs to the running back, all these shallow crosses. He's not getting anything down the field because I'm going to speed his clock up by blitzing him. They stopped, and Alex started. So we'll see if other teams allow Alex to get comfortable in the pocket or not. Anyway, that's going to do it for me, your man Louie T. I can't thank you guys enough for joining me today. Another hard-fought loss for the ball club, for the football team. It could have been ugly. It was 24-3. Those boys scratched and clawed their way back into this game. Gave us an opportunity. Looked like we were heading for overtime. This defense had other ideas. This is the second time we've played Matthew Stafford in Detroit in the last 4 years. Did it to us in 2016. Did it to us again this year, where we gave the football back to Matthew Stafford. It's like a rerun all over again. And he takes our heart, rips it out, and steps on it. So, tough loss. But it's the nature of the ball game. It's the nature of the business when you're a 2-7 ball club. You're young and you make mistakes and you're figuring out, trying to find a way to win. This is what happens. So, Carlton Pagano Jackson, thank you for doubling up. Double up. CPJ writes, whole team needs to be better. These third downs, these teams always convert on us. Having a drink for all of us. Keep it up, Lou. I appreciate you. Have one for me. I'm on my Thanksgiving fast, so I can't have a drink. Boy, I could use one, man. Golly, I could use one. A stiff one, too. But I'm on my Thanksgiving fast, so I can't even indulge. But not one back for me, man. And literally, as you taking a sip, you don't even got to take a shot. As you take a sip, say, hey, this one's for you, Louie. And just take a sip for me. I really appreciate you, CPJ. I need that. But in any event, the whole team needs to be better. You're absolutely right. You know, you want to blame the defensive line? Yeah, they weren't good today. They need to be better. You want to blame the secondary? They were awful today. They have to be better. You want to blame the linebackers? They always need to be better. You know, the receivers need to be better. There were drops. There was a fumble by Terry McLaurin. The running backs need to be better. You know, they weren't superb in this game. Everybody can be better. Alex Smith can be better. Offensive line can be better. But at the end of the day, it wasn't good enough. It wasn't, collectively as a group, it wasn't good enough. And so back to the drawing board, and we'll see what happens. And I really appreciate you guys joining me. Make sure you subscribe to the Louie T Network for more great content if you haven't already done so. Make sure that you turn on that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And also make sure that you hit that like button on the way out if you haven't already done so as well. Love every single one of you guys out there and gals. Really appreciate y'all. Look forward to chopping it up with you later on tonight for Sunday Night Football overtime. All right, but until then, I'm your man, Louie T. Signing off. Washington falls 30-27 to the Detroit Lions on a last-second 59-yard Matt Prater field goal. Tough way to go out, but it could have been worse. Could have been an ass thrashing. Boys fought hard all the way to the end. At some point, these small and uplifting, what's the word I'm looking for here? What's it called when you take solace in something, but you don't win, but you're excited about that? Moral victories. There you go. At some point, the moral victory of just playing hard and not getting blown out, that's not good enough. But today, for me, today it was. Because this felt like a game that could get out of control. 24-3 on the road in Detroit. Felt like a game you could get your ass handed to you in. And they fought. But eventually, this isn't good enough. Like next week, just being close to Cincinnati wouldn't be good enough. Because the Lions are a better team than us. They're a better team than us. Because they got Matthew Stafford. The Bengals, they have Joe Burrow, and he's better than anything we have. But he's a rookie quarterback. So it's inexcusable. That's a 2-win team. We're a 2-win team. Just being close next week isn't good enough. You need to find a way to win. If it's a close game, you need to find a way to win next week. Because they're just like us. They don't know how to win either. You got to find a way to win. But they beat the Titans this year. We don't have anything like that on our resume. So we'll see next week. Anyway, you guys, take it easy. Have a good one. I'll see you next time.
LouieTeeNetwork.